Welcome! I'm Jan Kugel and this is another episode of Letters to Avoid, a series where we take a look at warning letters and break them down. Today I will talk about mistakes you should avoid in clean rooms and about weaknesses in computer systems which could cost you a warning letter. In earlier episodes we talked about warning letters received by relatively small drug manufacturers. But today I'll address a Fortune 400 company that got 2 letters in 2019. The company we'll talk about today is Akorn Incorporated. Akorn is a manufacturer of many generic drugs that fill 2 catalogs. They manufacture the goods in 6 facilities. Now I want to show you how devastating a blow to a company can be when it gets 2 warning letters in 1 year. After the unsuccessful audit in mid-2018, the company's stock plunged from $18 to $1.6 now. Also, the revenue in 2019 was about $700 million compared to $841 million in 2017. So you see how it's better to avoid such situations. Now let's get to the first warning letter, received in January 2019 by a company's site in Decatur, USA. Because of time issues, I'll cover only a few deviations from each notice. The first violation had to do with the Regulation 21 CFR Section 211-113. It requires the workers to follow procedures that meant to prevent microbiological contaminations of sterile products. The company has relevant procedures in place, but the operators chose to disregard them on some occasions and showed poor aseptic practices on others. The company uses an ISO 7 cleanroom for preparation and storage of material, and the ISO 5 cleanroom, which should be a sterile environment to fill vials with their product. When the FDA auditor has visited those facilities, he observed many violations. For example, operators removed the sterility layers of stopper bags and shelved them in a non-sterile location in an ISO 7 cleanroom. Then they have brought the bags into the ISO 5 cleanroom without disinfecting them. Here is another example of the operators risking contamination of the ISO 5 sterile environment. The company uses sterile wipes, packaged in 2 layers. The operators always assume that the outer layer functioned as a sterility barrier. The idea of that appeared wrong to the auditor. Therefore, they contacted the supplier during the audit, who told them that the second layer is in fact no sterile barrier. So the whole this time they used to bring wipes inside the ISO 5 cleanroom without disinfecting the primary package, risking contamination. The auditor has witnessed violations also during manufacturing steps, like operators sticking their heads and torso inside the filling cabinet, hovering over open vials. Those were only some violations that might promote contamination in critical filling areas. As I see it, the company can save tons of money and time. Just let the employees skip the dressing room and get to work in their pajamas. Now, a swift summary of how to minimize contamination when you work in a sterile environment. Disinfect every item before bringing it inside. Also reduce your movement near open products and primary packaging. Now, moving on. In June 2019, the FDA sent a second warning letter to Akorn site located in Somerset, New Jersey, USA. The 2 sites have 1,400 kilometers between them, yet they seem to have the same cleanroom instructor, as this site was lacking in cleanroom etiquette as well. But enough with cleanrooms for today. Let's talk about data integrity now. 21 CFR Section 211-68 states that only authorized personnel may perform changes to digital records. Still, any change must have an audit trail, of course, recording who changed what and when. The section also requires to have a system to back up any input or output. 21 CFR Section 211 194 adds to it and requires that all the data obtained in the course of each analytical test to be maintained. Now, back to the audit. The FDA has reviewed multiple QC appliances and found out that operators could change and delete data freely. For some of the computers, chemists had even full admin rights. Such data integrity breach is a total no-go. It can allow chemists to repeat tests and choose results that suit them the best, thus avoiding out-of-specification results. By doing so, covering up a possible material defect or a training deficiency. Chemists may do this because they may be scared to get in trouble with their lab managers. Unfortunately, some lab managers see OOS as a burden or are afraid of delaying the production and getting in trouble. Such behavior is, of course, wrong, as it may endanger the consumer by leading to the use of false or defect materials. How would you deal with such a data integrity breach? What would be your first move to correcting it? Leave your thoughts in the comment section. I wish Acorn the best of luck in improving their quality systems. If you enjoyed today's episode, don't forget to click the like button. Also make sure to subscribe and follow so you don't miss the next episode. That was all for today. So stay compliant and see you next week.